Hello, and welcome to the final Apples and Snakes Words First digital showcase. My name is Amy Aker.
And my name is Yomi Ṣode. Words First is the BBC search for the spoken word stars of the future, brought to you by BBC One Extra, the BBC Asian Network, and BBC's Contained Strong Language Festival.
The project is delivered in partnership with Apples and Snakes, Young Identity, and New Reekie. We're so excited to be hosting tonight, and we've got some incredible poets performing for your viewing pleasure.
Yeah, some incredible performances embracing the nature of lockdown and moving out of buildings and onto screens to explore all the new ways that performance poetry and spoken word can connect all of you with all of us.
We're so excited for you to get a look at these poets tonight. So, Yomi, who have we got?
Taking us on this mythical narration with a bit of a tipsy twist. Make some noise for Alex. Big up.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. The gods of Olympus are my family. You have to be a god at the Olympics just to dance with me. My son Hercules is a bum. The end of the world will never come. Tragedy will not strike twice. It's as crippled as lightning. The world has already ended once. The end of days will last forever for some. As long as men burn, the sea will part, and the moon will wait its turn to turn on us. Life as we know it, Armageddon, is but a fable told to scare children, instill fear in pilgrims. Give soul to hatred's repertoire. The solitude of villains spitting in nature's reservoir. The first hand of the elements is now melancholy, sentimental. The prayers they burn in the temple. The hand that gripped the bolt is gentle. The storm of the sea is but a whisper. Even the mighty Clarke is no longer vengeful. So transcendence is formulaic. Vengeance archaic. Paid to check. Check to point the finger. Judgment old and full of wrath thunders through lightning's mask. The walls of this world will crumble before the eye of justice. Crushed under the weight of waste and the pettiness that has splintered your foundation will be the end of you. Bow before the might of Olympus, righteous rage will return. Sweet funeral to fear. Consequence compared. Does it really matter anyway? The end of the world, bah, it's already done. Worldly wonder, missing the sun. Father Earth, missing Mum. Kissing, gone.
I have a real soft spot for poems about dads, particularly flawed, complex fathers, like I guess most of them are. And this poem kind of executes that idea brilliantly. This is Ryan.
My dad, the smartest man I once knew. He had shoulders that were broader than the River Thames. He could carry me piss easy whilst we were swimming. I'm being serious, man. To me, he was like Goliath. I'm probably being biased. The weight on his back was no more than about 7 stone, yet the pound notes were rolling. And I'm not saying that he was rich. He just had a problem that no one was controlling. How do you think I felt Every time I'd see him over and over and over again, consumed. But I was the apple of his eye. Nothing can stop our relationship, apart from naivety. Why did you leave it to me? It's your fault. All this time, you was fucking with your mind. You could have shown me at least how to punch properly. Honestly, it's your fault. Sort yourself out, man. You're going the same way that he did. I mean it. When you find out that that type of fun fucks with your future, you won't be able to see past it. So here we are. A couple of drunk disasters, casting out our lines and bagging up the rest of the tackle. Fiends, just chasing dreams in Wonderland. What a man, my hero that never, ever saves the day. Oh, fuck's sake. Hello. You alright, Dad? Yeah. No, I'm literally just doing nothing. Where are you? Are you down at the pub again? Yeah. Yeah. Alright, yeah, no, I can't come down now. No. Yeah, no, give me a bell tomorrow, if you're still alive. Yeah. Alright, bye.
Oh, what? You thought we was done? Jokers, listen, let's get back in with Salma with a trip down memory lane, yeah? Easy.
Of learning Ovenus stood outside of assembly with Wade and Sebastian. Only a door between us and Christian corruption. Of having no choice but to go to the hammam. But winning the fight with Mum to keep my knickers and vest on. Because being naked in a room full of strangers was a norm we did not share. Of walking miles with Dad along Brighton Pier. All the while arguing, trying to convince him that God exists. Of Mum telling me to wear the hijab. Of Dad telling me to take it off. Of getting dressed up just to go to the blocks. Of feeling like ghetto was something I learned and not something I was. Of using Remo as my MSN DP, wanting to be just like her. Of how we bonded over music, blaring out, "Busted, it's 2 damn o'clock in the morning, where you been?" Of the dirty wine, willy bounce and gully creep. Of practicing. Whole summers spent swimming in Damaris, only surfacing to wolf down our sardine sandwiches. Of dabbing sugar and lemon on my hennaed hands, peeling socks of skin the next morning, hoping for a mahogany stain. Of filling a bottle with water in a public toilet and feeling the need to explain. Of how moist shrunk my world of shame, forbidding me from looking out of the window because people think I'm doing it for male attention. Of praying away pregnancies. Of repressed trauma turning boomerang, making its way back to me. Of picking you up off the toilet floor, discarding you in a kidney-shaped bowl. Of how this became catalyst for healing. Of no one calling, and no one to call. Of this tug of war between who I am and who I'm supposed to be. Of existing on the boundary.
So this next poem is like a kind of metaphysical monologue. And I really love everything that the performer does with breath, with voice, with the kind of silence and the use of pauses. And this is Jason.
As I'm wandering in the sky, the thunder begins to sing. The clouds begin to cry as the earth reveals its sins. Why did you take joy in the tears of pain when it was your noise and intimidation that caused it to fall again? You see, I stand proud because I know there's a hero on the horizon. The sun is rising, vibrant with the light that you will never be. Oh Lord, I'm so grateful whenever it shines on me, but the darkness resides in me. To let the silence speak. Silently. You are nothing. You are no hero. What do you take from it? That there are no heroes? If we was to be nothing, then what would we be? Between me and you there is something, and that's everything to me. I know I don't see, but I know what's around me. I know. The silence leaves, and the sun begins to rise, but this time, I keep it in mind that I am nothing. Why do you take joy in the tears of pain? I asked the cloud. The earth sins in the seeds of your name. You must feel disdain for its inhabitants, or find us insane, or think of us as stains that should be wiped and never seen again. Why are you not as angry as me? Because I am nothing, the cloud says to me, in silence.
Hold tight, Kanan. He's got me all thinking emoji with the next poem that he's about to run with you lot right now.
Look, I once heard a male say, I don't date girls that are smarter than me. I suppose that's because the last time he did, he learned a lot. See, I was sitting in the garden counting the lines on a bench when a young couple's cinematic argument became my entertainment. I was trying to keep my nose out until my curious ear caught wind of her rant. She asked him this: are you a male or a man? He looked at her like she was crazy, but before he could respond, she silenced him with her hand. She said, every man is a male, but not every male is a man. She said, every male wants a woman to quench the thirst, but only a man is willing to get married first. And that every male can get eager to spray his kids, but only a man is willing to raise his kids. She said every male can be hasty with tempers short as life, but only a man adopts patience and practices. Where every male may come across wealth, only a man is willing to work. She said every male at some point in his life will receive disrespect from a woman, but only a man seeks to understand her hurt. Where every male seeks admiration, only a man will win respect. She said every male will make mistakes, but only a man will take accountability for the things he done and the things he said. And then she looked at him as if to say, a man is the one willing to confess. But before he could squeeze a word in, she said, every male can invent excuses for his failures, but only a man will pave a path for success. And then she asked him again, are you a male or a man? Lost in a search for words, he found a reason to leave, and while he fled, he yapped, I don't bother messaging me, I've already blocked you on WhatsApp. You see, I once heard a male say, I don't date girls that are smarter than me. I suppose that's because the last time he did, he learnt a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a poem that really carries you along, almost kind of hypnotically in its breath, in its rhythm, in its kind of sense of dance, and then I really love where it takes you. This is by Meriem.
My words dance in different tongues. They dance to the beat of Moroccan drums. Berber shakes my shoulders. They stand and fall like Roman soldiers. Arabic sways my hips and French tickles my lips. English writes the lyrics and they all dance and sing to the rhythm of Moroccan strings. My words dance in different tongues. They dance to the beat of Moroccan drums. Spanish somewhere in the distance tries to forge an existence and swears to sway Spanish influence. My words breathe in different tongues. Every breath fills my lungs with different cultures. They sway together like lovers. My words dance in different tongues. They dance to the beat of Moroccan drums. Foreign hands with foreign tongues play with the Moroccan drums. They play foreign songs and seek to educate the Berber savages, protect, discover lands, only collect what has been left, discarded by others like scavengers. They never violate or steal, lest the foreign Western appeal. My words dance in different tongues. They dance to the beat of Moroccan drums. They march to the rhythm of Moroccan strings. With a Bible in their foreign hands, they stand on Moroccan lands, sing "Let there be light," and watch as the light comes, shining on the savage Moroccan drums. Their words settle down and make a home of Moroccan lands. Fill them with Moroccan tunes, produce seeds in Moroccan wombs. And when a child is born, they're fed different tongues. And when a child is grown, their words dance to the beat of Moroccan drums.
I'm trying to get this next poet to teach me how to set a mood like this, yeah? So listen, when you're not so busy being a poet, just teach me. Just teach me, yeah? Like, it's the whole way he enters the poem, innit? Like, you see. Big up, Gafar. Let's get cracking.
Moonlight. Now, we all know that the moon's light shines bright. And for some, it's the only source of light, and what great might it seems that the moon has. Imagine being depended upon by 7.7 billion people at night. You see, I'd like to think that God created the moon with his light. And this is just one of many ways that we depend on God without him even having to try. But now just imagine if we gave God our entire lives. Depending on him whether things were good or bad, we'd swing swords like Jedi Knights, reaching multiple various different heights. Blasters ready like the stormtrooper you are, fencing off everything that came to attack the happiness inside. You'd feel like Thor, because you'd actually be a child of God. With strengths as peak as Hulk, with God, you'd have assurance and so much more. Guardian of the galaxy indeed. You see, you'd be the guardian of your own peace. Every seed you sow, good things you'd reap, because God would be your gardener tending to the needs of his seed. So when I look at the moon, I think about the might of his light. That no matter what darkness I go through, his light is Excalibur in the hands of King Arthur. He's an unstoppable force. To him, there's no unmovable object. He's an unstoppable God. So when I'm in darkness, I turn to God. His light shines 24 hours, 7 days a week, like a gas station off the M25. He's there readily waiting to share his light with the weak, to be made strong. With God, you can never really go wrong. Dark and lonely days no longer exist, because joy, amongst other things, is what his light brings. For real.
This poem is called Azrael. At the age you are now, your father's body had built a nest for an angel. You, key stage 2, couldn't place why he coughed wing beats. Cried shameless the year wise men saw the stowaway. Photobomber in a radio wave. Today, tapping 40, Your neck convexes. You bookmark testaments. Nothing makes sense like a toddler walking around with your face, hurling a sippy cup at the wall. This summer we're home, brazing our skirting boards and the bees are brave. Buzzing thickets comfort crushed shale into shade and you run to remember not all angels are hereditary. In one version, God drops a leaf and 7 billion eyes read your name. 40 days later, a test card. This summer we cling to our TVs like gastropods on a rock. The Land Before Time washes up on Netflix. Littlefoot's mum is dead, like Simba's dad is dead, like Bambi's mum is dead, like Bastian's mum is dead. If this is how we level up to protagonist, you'd rather swim in the shadow of a demiurge. You swing your daughter dizzy in the garden to remember not all childhoods are hereditary. At the age you first met memory, she spies her shadow, takes it everywhere but watches Mama Dinosaur die dry-eyed while you break on the Black Friday couch. 4,000 wings trying you on for size. Wonder why your kid's hypothetical loss stings sharper than your lived one. You ask your mother. She says when the angel came she couldn't look directly at your grief, a wooden doll inside hers. You say kids are resilient. You were okay. She says you weren't though. Were you? This poem just grabbed me from the start. It had me absolutely gripped. There's an incredible sense of story, pace, performance, control. This is Gemma.
She's beckoned into this man's office. He sits her down in a brown leathery chair much nearer the ground than he. Says there seems to be a problem. She won't open up her soul and it's taking its toll on her creativity. It's vulnerability needed to be free. Her body drapes a closed closet of potential, all access barred, and she's jarred by his assumption she was born that way. The film of her life, chasing memory, play. They meet again by swipe. She flicked him back into her life. Long left behind, blonde, flitting, floppy, fidgeting fringe, fancied, freckled face, chasing memory, play. Pool tabled, pinned wrist. She shifts and shifts and shifts. Humiliation hangs in air like her pair of bare tits. Pause. It's this man's voice again. You wear defence really well, but intelligence, it's in head, not heart beat. It's racing a memory. She's chasing memory, play, taking shots with men a lot bigger than her frame, booming boxes, chanting names of encouragement. It was meant to be a laugh for her too. At dawn he parades through the room with cherry-stained sheets, high fives from the lads, they're even incomplete. Pause. It's his voice again. Your lips are trembling in their pout. Now what are you angry about? Memory. He chases her with sharp blue eyes. She tucks loose hair behind ear. He's at her collarbone, a move known to her 'cause she led him there with her fingertips. Sips on drinks, draws eyes to lips that move with hips. Do you want to continue this at mine? Awkward climb up narrow stairs knowing he's behind. The room holds no space for small talk, so they don't. It's his voice again. Says there seems to be a I do not owe you my softness, sir. You cannot dunk a hard-boiled egg, and I have been dunked and dumped and fucked and sunk into the place you want me now. How do you expect me to heal if your idea of feeling is to show you my tears? I have spent years of fearing the power of my rage, disengaging a guttural call and falling into place, pretty face with muted cry, and that is why you are going to hear me roar, 'cause my fury is what I'm still here for. Is what she wished she'd said. Instead, she believed the fault her own, a grown-ass woman with no backbone and a damaged vessel to her soul. Which was wholly untrue. Because one day there'd be a person who was invited into her bite, into pain, as they shared theirs the same, and she would never apologise for herself again.
Next up is Charlie with a poem that is dear to his heart. You know them kind of poems there that just kind of like just seeps into your soul and just sits there. This is Charlie. Listen up. Boom.
My mum is so beautiful. They say that Helen of Troy was the face that launched 1,000 ships, but my mum, she could launch 1,001. And my mum is so intelligent, she counted to infinity twice. My mum is so wise. Last week there was a disturbance in the force. It was Yoda asking for advice. My mum is so efficient, she can clap with just one hand. And my mum is so sweet, people like to pour her on their pancakes. Man, my mum is so athletic, she could beat a wall at tennis. And my mum is so strong, she can carry 1,000 bags of shopping at once. And my mum is so brave. When I was 12, she tried to kill herself. And I stopped her. Now, I don't mean to rock the boat, but I felt like the first mate trying to keep the ship afloat the moment after the captain had fallen overboard. And in that moment, I realised I didn't know my mother at all. There were many times in my life when she nearly died, but this time was different. She was my hero. Super Mum. We'd been on so many adventures together, had loads of fun. We'd fought the shadows in the dark and conquered the monsters under the bed and defeated all the villains and the baddies in all the books we'd read. But every superhero has a secret identity. And hers is called depression. From that moment, I made it my mission to go from being our biggest fan to her best friend, to try and understand the reasons that led her to wanting life to end. It took a struggle and a while for me to fully comprehend one thing. The knowledge that the magnitude of her love for me and the gravity of her pain were not mutually exclusive of each other. My mum can't carry 1,000 bags at once, but she's still strong enough to carry the weight of the world and carry on. And my mum can't beat a wall at tennis, but she's got the tenacity of one. And my mum can't be poured on pancakes, but she's still the sweetest, man. And my mum is still efficient, even if she claps with both her hands. And my mum isn't mates with Yoda, but she's definitely still wise. And my mum's still mad intelligent, even if she hasn't counted to infinity twice. She's still beautiful and brave and a brilliant human being, and every single day she's still the hero I keep seeing. Nothing in the affairs of men is worthy of great anxiety, and yet we still feel it. We cannot claim to preach about what we do not understand, but we can only show our love for those that do. My mum taught me that, and now she's teaching it to you.
What I love about this poem is the way it finds the strength within softness. Listen to it and feel healed. This is Sian.
Dear Sian, hold your hands towards the sun. Let it come down and kiss your cheeks. Let it turn your worries into peace, even though you have an infinite amount of fears. Look at them and say, it is not them, but I that wins. Let it turn your loneliness into comfort, especially during those dark nights where you're fighting your demons left, right, and centre. Say, Lord, let there be light. Sian, let there be light. Breathe in and allow your lungs to be filled with courage whilst exhaling all your fears and doubts. Hold your hands towards the sunshine. Let it come down and kiss your cheeks. Take it in, feel it. Even though you live in a world that is broken and bitter, be the honey. Let your words be the honey. Sweet for the body, sweet for the mind, and sweet for the real soul. And despite it taking you 6,935 days to be exact, you've done enough, and I have said enough.
a storyteller with this knack of reeling you in when you don't even expect it, in different angles. Make some noise for Rachel. Boom.
Sorry, I've been not getting used to any of this. I stay inside and I tell my plants I'm proud of them. I have been slipping into my phone call voice, especially in person. I found a fingernail the size of a pistachio shell trapped between the O and the L, so my emails all begin with this finds you. I can type so fast now that it sounds like an applause. My work meetings are all done on webcam, and when my face is a chess move away from the fit administrator, I screenshot, crop out my line manager, and just mash our faces together, which is the most intimate that I've been in months. It does feel a bit jarring though when I have to call my granddad on his 79th birthday. It takes him a while to recognise me. He hasn't learnt to look at the screen yet, and I am disguised in my telephone voice. He keeps telling me to turn around, so I'm like, Grampy, I'm not in the same room as you. And he talks about the birds. He goes, look at the birds. Look at the birds. They've got them by the spines. Look at the birds. They've got them by the spines. And look at the birds. They're ripping them by the spine. And they're ripping them up 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 by the spine. So I'm watching myself reacting to a massacre of old people I can't even see. Residents lost like saved documents, and Grampy's friends are carried off like cursors beyond his screen. He points and says how Bertie had been got by the spine. Scaly bugger, but I did love him. He starts to laugh when my pixelated body squirms, but the movement brings him back to me. There are only fishes in the pond, he says.
This next piece is like ASMR in poetry form. It's so soothing to listen to while dealing with quite difficult subjects. It also has a kind of anthemic quality to it. This is Stanley.
Ode to Healing. As Charlie, I lay starfish on the cold snow, head pressed in deep, cold snaps all over, amber noise fading into the background. I give myself over to the numbness, surrender to the silence, don't fight it. How I feel both sad and happy, frozen although very much alive. I save myself, choose myself, accept myself, and stop accepting love I do not deserve. As Patrick, I am purple and bruised, face puffed up like a balloon, in this moment invisible to you. The silence hits harder than fists do, crumpled in shapes, battered, bruised. Perhaps terror and screams sound cool. If he knows the truth, then who are you? Now Charlie comes to the rescue. I grieve myself, to find myself, question myself, and stop accepting love I do not deserve. As Sam, I embrace this heartbreak and don a crown of least resistance, make me infinite. Watching you crack whips, break hearts, remold, place plaster casts on said hearts, mended till they are whole, chipped but whole. You want someone who is delicate and supple, lusting after you until you get it. I heal myself, find love in myself, choose myself, and stop accepting love I do not deserve. Thank you.
Easy, easy, easy. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. Listen, hold tight, the storyteller, the poet. Let your ears be ready. Make some noise. Show your love for sailing.
We sat through English together, scribbling make-believes between the margins, learning to laugh at nonsense. I found my brother in the back row of a crowded classroom. I love my brother. I trust my brother to speak his heart despite the noise. He grew up speaking his mother tongue, assimilation, a second language, English, a gesture. We wave out of windows, a bleached cloud, a white rag between our teeth as teacher talked. And discontentment was an extracurricular activity. The miseducation of kings began in a small town governed by peculiarity. We learned to walk through shadows with our kerosene lamps behind our backs, following smoke puppets into midnight where we found clarity in matchsticks. And pantheons blur as Prometheus and the old gods talk us down. It's hard to show frustration when you're squeezed into a box. Boy, black. No, we don't talk like that around here. We walked into tinder-filled buildings with our worn-out smiles wading off flames, tongues beaten smooth by the jury, a procession of fearmongers. That is why I trust my brother. I trust my brother. I trust my brother to speak his heart despite the rage. The cages don't follow us into the fields we burn. Making space for expression, we earn the right to grieve. Built brotherhood on the bones we didn't spit into the mob, tucking gristle behind our teeth, tongues twisting into complicity, learning, finding the word for sanctuary. The centuries haven't dimmed the chains that charge our vigor with misdemeanor and violence. I have watched him burn down to the hilt, watch him turn to ash as another cold world curdles the dimples in his cheek, an emancipated flame choking on pleasantries. Anger is the ritual we hide. Sweat purges the pains. We wrestle with quiet ringing peace from fire. Brotherhood eases the lonely, so we only burn in quiet. A holy communion after the city slips into a nightmare.
This poem really encourages you to challenge your perceptions and your preconceptions. And I really love the kind of journey that it takes you on the way. It starts off quite analytical and then gets more personal. This is Aalia.
We see people and we judge on how they present themselves, the way they walk, the way they talk. How our eyes and minds perceive them, we believe that to be true. However, we cannot be sure of the secrets that lie behind the mind's eye. My brother once told me that I could be anything I wanted to be, live how I wanted to live, my life, my choice. But you see, some things in life aren't always a choice. You don't choose to walk the way you do, naturally. Your natural walk is your brain transmitting signals to your body to walk that certain way. Some things are innate within us, biological, not perceived or learnt, but hardwired into our system. The input is easy, the output is hard. We must realise that we cannot change the signals and the code between the input and output, otherwise the output becomes disjointed and incorrect. We try to correct, and we try to let out, but what comes out isn't the truth. It's a version of the truth we believe others want to hear, not the truth we desperately want to let out. I met this old lady once. She told me about how she was campaigning for women's rights in the 1940s. Another woman kicked her directly in the back. Her back wasn't straight enough, nor her head high enough. She struggled to walk properly after that, and so her walk changed, not by choice, but by oppression. I had a hard time walking. I can walk, but it's hard to walk truthfully, being truthful to what my brain is telling me, the input translating into the output. I can't do it. We are living in a world where truth is unknown. Reputation needs protecting, but it is the lies that protect it, not the truth. We are scared of judgment, but will happily judge. Unjustified judgment, judgment based on false ideologies and belief systems that are flawed. And so this leaves the oppressed down on their knees. Oppression and discrimination hinders truth. If I chose to take away your right to walk and instead left you crawling and hurting, how would you feel? Flip that on its head. If I chose to take away your right to love, what would you do? Sometimes I'd like to walk like you, in different shoes to my own. I want to know what it's like to not be judged for how you walk, how you are, who you are, really. But it's hard to not care about your judgment. It really shouldn't be hard, but when people find out that you're, then that makes you a completely different person. No, I am still me. Someone you pass in the street. I am still your daughter, your friend, your sister. I am gay. And I'm still afraid to say that.
So this next poem has an amazing theatrical energy to it. I felt like a Shakespearean sprite was taking me on the journey. Flawless performance, and this is Damani.
I say, oh wise man, why must they shine me into black? Why must the light be so nimble as to dance away from my touch? Oh, save me from this darkness. And he says, well, you're quite the dramatic one now, aren't you? However, your qualms are valid and perhaps you've come to the right person. If you truly seek the things you ask, then I may be of service. However, first I must warn you, things may not be as they seem. Your negativity has given rise to doubt, robbed you of your confidence. Though no fault of your own, you may not see things the way they truly are. However, come with me and you will be a star, loved beyond measure, revered beyond return, seen by every eye. But at the cost of your freedom to walk the streets, the price, your peace of mind. Your voice intrigues so many. Where are you from? They all say. You feel outcasted by plenty and less accepted with each day. Come with me. You will be heard, but oh, beware the things you say. Where people listen, people speak, and you may have your voice taken away. Your dear mother, bless her soul. Oh, she tries her very best, often with little to show. Come with me and let her rest. Give her sleep in a fancy home. I say, what could be wrong with this? It's perfect. Oh, is it? The price of this gift is you may seldom come to visit. As you call out to the sky, blessings, blessings, oh come rain. I can provide all you desire, but it will be an exchange. My friend, you think your hands are empty. I implore you, look again. True love, honest friends, precious time, sound mind. All of this will be mine, and all you want shall be yours. Just sign this dotted line and come with me.
That was amazing.
Oh, Amy, that was sick. I fully agree with you.
What an incredible bunch of acts. Well, thank you so much, everyone at home, for joining us.
And don't forget to tune in tomorrow over at Young Identity's YouTube page to see the final round.
Final round. It is heating up. If you want to find out more, search for Words First Spoken Word on social media.
Or go to the Apples and Snakes website at www.applesandsnakes.org.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us. I've been Amy Aker.
You listen. I'm Yomi, and like, if you want to find out more about myself or Amy, we're on social media. So yeah, our work is out there. It's been a pleasure to be just host for this event. I'm Yomi Ṣode. I'm gonna do the awkward Zoom wave to say goodbye. Amy's doing it as well. Take care. Bye.
Bye.